Before the video starts, I want to make a quick announcement, Vetters. I want to announce Vetted's brand new merch line. Over the past 4 months, I have been testing all kinds of different fabrics and designs to come up with some brand new stuff that I think you guys are finally going to like. Stuff I would want to wear. That's basically the approach I took. Just like this. Our Believe hat that you can see right here. Looking good. Our Believe t-shirt. This thing is awesome, I promise you. We got a brand new mug that says, I want to believe, not be deceived. You can also find it in a t-shirt like this. Loving it. And of course, if you just want to get some vetted merch, you can just do that with the V. I got this badass hat. And you can even get a hoodie like this. This thing is sick. And I've even got these awesome vetted playing cards with this cool UFO Polaroid on the front, which you can even get in a t-shirt. Look at this thing. Come on. That's sick. Let's go, y'all. And the coup de grace is this Psionics poster, which you can get. It's framed, glass frame. It's amazing. You won't regret it. Look at this thing. Come on, that's sick. We've got a t-shirt too. Go to vettedmerch.store. Link in the description. As always, there's even products tagged underneath this YouTube video. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Now let's start this video because today we're talking about this.
I'm telling you, wait till you hear what's coming. There is going to be a major data gathering deal that will, I think, change a lot of minds about a lot of things. We just do not need the government. We do not need them. They're not going to show us what we want. I want to see biologics, and I think we're going to be able to show people biologics. But if we don't get biologics, we won't claim it. But I'm expecting it. I'm telling you right now, I'm expecting to get biologics. I will not lie about it.
What does that mean, though? Does that mean like we get it as a public, like to release it, or like we get a photo?
No. I pay, we believe that at this event, non-human intelligence will land and stand outside and maybe even interact with us. They are coming very close.
I will say I'm not under anything, but I did see and hang out with Bob and Mike Battista and was shown some footage at the table. That shit was actually kind of crazy. I will say, I don't know if there's more of that stuff, Bob, that's coming out. I was like, yeah.
Much more. So every time, that craft came down and it landed behind a tree. So the one out in the desert, it came down and landed 200 meters away, right out in the open. And so it's just what as the entities and Batista and J2, etc., grow more accustomed to regularly doing this, they're coming closer and closer and closer. And I'm going to tell you what, Sarah Gam and I want to get on and go fly and see the rings of Saturn.
Is it that you can actually see a craft outline, or is it just like a light?
It's like
no. The one that was in contact in the desert. There is a craft landed on the ground and two entities walk out.
All right, Vetters, please hit that like button. That really helps out the videos. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Today's video is absolutely bonkers, y'all. We're going to be covering someone named Science Bob McGwier, former Skywatcher Psionic asset Michael Battista, and just psionics in general. And remember, Jeremy Corbell just said this on a podcast about psionics.
There's something bigger, there's something greater, right?
Definitely.
But you're being played.
Why?
By our government.
You think so?
I know so.
Okay, then tell me how I'm being played.
The psionics movement is a government-controlled movement. I've really never talked about this publicly, but I know that to be true. Not that these guys didn't have experiences, not that there isn't a connection to consciousness and UAP, but I told you at the beginning that they're trying to shape the emerging
Yes.
UAP narrative. That is a quote from a
Yes.
CIA document. The psionics movement as it's presented to you by intelligence agents is to shape the narrative. It's not that it's untrue, all of it. Some of it is untrue. And I think if I had those guys sitting with me right here, they'd want to admit it, because they're patriots and they're probably good humans. So keep your mind open.
Yes.
Don't let the marbles spill out.
So is psionics a government psyop? I don't know, right? Don't forget, I have a documentary out called Psionics right now. Now, again, I don't work with anyone in the film that's, former government agent. The only person that I spoke to who has a former military background is Michael Battista, who I feature in the documentary as well for a little bit at the end. But with that said, stay tuned to the end of the video where I will be sharing part of my conversation with Michael Battista, an interview that I did last year. So you're going to want to see that so you can learn more about who he is, because the claims in this video involve him directly. And don't forget, the claim in the video today is that I was hanging out in an X-Base recently, and Science Bob McGwier, we'll get to him in a moment, basically said that him and Michael Battista and a few other people recently at Contact in the Desert, the annual UFO conference that takes place in Palm Springs, that they got a craft to land and two beings walked out of it, and they got it on camera, and it will be indisputable proof, no doubt. What? I mean, that's basically disclosure, just not government disclosure. It would be citizen disclosure. And is this true? And when's the video coming out? And will we think it's that when we see it? We're going to answer all of those questions in today's video. But let me introduce you a little bit to who Science Bob McGwier is. That's the person making the claims in today's video. You see, I interviewed Science Bob McGwier about a year and a half ago, actually coming up on 2 years. And I'm just going to play a little clip of that so you can kind of understand just who he is. I'm going to put a link in the description to the full interview I did with him if you want to check that out.
All of a sudden, there was this rushing sound by the submarine, and it didn't disturb the water because we didn't get rustled around, but the senior master chief came out of sonar and said that something had gone by us that was huge, and it was moving, he thought, faster than the speed of sound in air, but it was so far underwater, it would have nothing we know how to do on the earth can move an object underwater at that speed.
You had mentioned that potentially they were somewhere working on something, and you think maybe Tim borrowed Chris's download and started a company, kind of like yours that you did.
I don't know what I know this. Chris helped him with some medical stuff in Tim Taylor's laboratory. And subsequent to that, Taylor made a fortune, and Chris Bledsoe got none of it.
You think so? You're saying Tim Taylor potentially briefed President Obama at Camp David about this envelope that Chris Bledsoe had sent,
which contained a description of Chris's experience and his prediction for the future.
My guest today is Bob McGwier. He goes online by Science Bob McGwier. And right here you can see just how smart he is. Now, in today's episode, Bob is going to be bringing up two of his USO stories. That's right, Bob has been talking about USOs since before it was cool to talk about. Now, in the late 90s, Bob experienced a USO sighting aboard a submarine on a classified mission, essentially, because Bob held a top secret security clearance in the government for 44 years, even reaching Q clearance, top secret clearance, which is the top clearance you can get, right? That's what they call it, top secret, I guess, not middle secret. Anyway, whatever. Regardless, in this episode, we are going to be talking about a lot of things. So be prepared. We're going to be talking about Grant Cameron, Tim Taylor, Chris Bledsoe, Lou Elizondo, Gary Nolan, all kinds of people. So stay tuned. This is going to be a great episode. Let's jump in. All right, everyone. Welcome to Vetted. Look who I have in the house. Mr. Science Bob. Is it McGwier? Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Awesome. Welcome to the show, Bob.
Thank you. Glad to be here, Patrick.
So like I said, I was hanging out in X Space the other night, and Science Bob McGwier came into the X Space and laid down this bombshell claim. And I just had to get some information about this. So let's begin, because I've got quite a few clips from the X Space so we can try to understand exactly what's going on and what is to come.
I'm telling you, wait till you hear what's coming. There is going to be a major data gathering deal that will, I think, change a lot of minds about a lot of things. We just do not need the government. We do not need them. They're not going to show us what we want. I want to see biologics, and I think we're going to be able to show people biologics. But if we don't get biologics, we won't claim it. But I'm expecting it. I'm telling you right now, I'm expecting to get biologics. I will not lie about it.
What does that mean, though? Does that mean like we get it as a public, like to release it, or like we get a photo?
No. I pay. We believe that at this event, non-human intelligence will land and stand outside and maybe even interact with us. They are coming very close.
What event? Whoa.
I mean, so you're talking about the psionic shit that you're working with, Bob? The psionic
Yes.
stuff?
I'm talking about they are calling them in. Ur and I and Battista and J-Tube and others of like mind went out, and we got all sorts of stuff by doing this heart coherence and beaming your love to the sky. And if anybody didn't feel that way, go home. And they came.
You see, basically the discussion in the X Space was like, what government disclosure? Are they going to reveal the bodies, the biologics, right? And Science Bob would say, we don't need them, right? We don't need them, even though he worked for the government for most of his adult life and held a very top secret clearance, right? And he's basically saying, we don't need that. We're going to provide it, me and the team that I'm working with. So he lays down a claim that they got them to come. Well, what exactly does that mean?
I will say I'm not under anything, but I did see and hang out with Bob and Mike Battista and was shown some footage at the table. That shit was actually kind of crazy. I will say, I don't know if there's more of that stuff, Bob, that's coming out. I was like, yeah,
much more. So every time, that craft came down and it landed behind a tree. So the one out in the desert, it came down and landed 200 meters away, right out in the open. And so it's just as the entities and Battista and J2, etc., grow more accustomed to regularly doing this, they're coming closer and closer and closer. And I'm going to tell you what, Sarah Gam and I want to get on and go fly and see the rings of Saturn.
And again, basically what they're claiming is that at an event at Contact in the Desert, they were able to use psionics, use their mind to summon a craft down directly in front of them, right? And again, the claim you're about to hear, two beings walked out. Now, of course, I had questions, and let's get to that.
Is it that you can actually see a craft outline, or is it just like a light?
it's like
No. The one that was in Contact in the Desert, there is a craft landed on the ground and two entities walk out.
Do they look like light entities, like in the shape of a human?
They had some kind of suits on, but they were not light beings. They were beings.
They had suits on. Now, are we talking Armani suits or space suits? I didn't get a chance for a follow-up question. To be honest with you, the space was kind of like everyone wanted to ask questions, and I was trying to dip in there and get more context here, right? To be honest with you. And of course, in retrospect, when you hear something like that, you think of a bazillion questions you'd like to ask. And we'll get to that in a moment, because I am going to do some follow-up questions about that. And I'm asking, right, is it just like you see a light, or do you actually see a craft? And are the beings that quote come out, are they just like, they look like lights? Again, I'm trying to get an idea of how specific it looks like that. Is it just left up for interpretation, or there is no doubt that a UFO lands, right, and two entities walk out of this UFO, right? So he's saying it's very clear. It's not kind of light stuff, which I've seen before from people, and it's, you can't tell anything, right? It is very much left open to interpretation. Now, Astral before, right, who's hosting the space and who I just did a live stream with, and very friendly with, great guy. He's saying he saw it, but he couldn't kind of tell what was going on. But Bob's trying to say, no, we have much better stuff than that, right? So, I don't know. This is crazy to hear.
I can't verify that. I was a little bit more drinks down in my coherence, so I can't say, but it was an interesting video. You could see some sort of movement, whether or not you could tell with the alien being, like I couldn't obviously, but I was like, yo, this is actually, I was kind of shoving it off even before I saw the video, but I think once I saw it, I was like, yo, this is actually kind of an interesting video for real.
Oh, that's an earlier one. I know the one you're talking about, where
with like the pink, it was like pinkish and stuff. Yeah.
No, that's from a couple of 3 months ago. The one at Contact in the Desert was much more definitive.
This is the one that you guys went out and filmed all together.
Yes, but the one you saw was from before Contact in the Desert started.
But I know that you went out with a group of people at Contact one night, way early in the morning too. Yes.
Okay. And then at the major event, like with 30 people, after it got down to about 10 people, the thing landed and they got out, and they were not afraid. I could tell you, we had a triangle fly over, and I think it was one of ours, because when that triangle came close, boom, they were gone.
So again, he is claiming that there is definitive video that was filmed of an event at Contact in the Desert involving Science Bob McGwier and former Skywatcher Psionic asset Michael Battista and others, who got a craft to land using their mind, and two entities walked out. And it's definitive. It's not light beings or just a bright light and you can't tell what's going on, right? And it's clear. You can tell what is going on. And they have this video footage. So are they going to release it?
Who's going to release the video?
What's that?
I'm saying, who's going to release? Is it like Batista and his crew?
Yeah. So look, there's a company, Psionic Asset. They have a contract with a media company. That's when it will come out and everybody will see it.
Got it.
So Michael Battista and his Psionic Asset company are the ones that filmed it, and they will be the ones releasing it. They have a website, psionicasset.com. You can see it here on the screen. I'll put a link down below in the description if you want to go check it out. But essentially, this company, right, and Michael Battista and his team are the ones that filmed this. Again, essentially disclosure. I don't know any other way to put it. My worry is, will it be up to interpretation, right? And Bob is saying no, right? Well, we're going to have to hold Bob to his word here. He's saying it's very definitive, and you can see entities wearing suits coming out. But the big question you may all be wondering, and I know I was, when is this video going to come out?
Bob, when do you think Batista is going to release that video?
I do not know the answer. I do not know the answer. I'm an advisor, not an I only give advice. I restrict my deal to that. Now I'm going to go to some of these things, like I'm putting together this thing that's going to be local to DC, but out in the country.
And Patrick, Mike's going to be in the Psionic panel next week too, right, Bob? You got him to come in?
Oh yeah. No, he already agreed. Let me see what he said. Hang on just a minute. I'm bringing up Signal. Okay, yeah. He said, "Oh, I got it. I'm available." So that's what he said. He'll be there.
They don't know, or Bob doesn't know when the video is going to come out. And it sounds like they're going to be doing other events where they land a craft and beings come out, I guess. And luckily, this coming week, Michael Battista will be in an X Space with Science Bob McGwier, a psionics panel that's happening on an event that Astral's putting on called UFO Twitter Week. I'm also holding an X Space during that as well. Talk about my film psionics, but this is separate. So I'm going to go to that X Space and I'm going to ask Michael Battista some follow-up questions about this, because you can't just drop that information and people not have questions, right? Whoa, don't ask us any questions. Whoa, you can't just say that, right? And expect people not to have questions. Now, I did actually DM Michael Battista to see if I could get a confirmation on this or just some more information, and I haven't heard anything back. Now, again, I did interview Michael Battista, and just very recently I was DMing with him once the Psionics movie came out, because he's in it. I got to film him and interview him for it, and I sent him a link so he could watch the movie, but I have not heard back on this particular incident, and he may not have wanted this to get out, to be honest with you. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but allegedly he'll be in this X Space, and I'll be able to ask a bunch of follow-up questions to see if we can get more information.
I got a quick question, Bob, if it's okay. Do you think that the footage that Batista, because I remember talking to him last year and interviewing him, and him sort of telling me about this sort of stuff that he was going to be involved in this stuff. Do you think the stuff that you guys got, the footage, and I mean, this is essentially disclosure, right? Do you think this is going to prove to the world?
This is why I claim we do not need government for disclosure. You will not be. You will not be in doubt. This is a non-human being.
Let's go, baby.
All right, I'm in. Hey, I'm in. I will say that Batista said he was going to invite me to this stuff and let me film.
Yeah, bro, we got to get the Psionics part 2 and part of this, man. Come on, let's go.
No, it's fine. It sounds like he got another crew and he's working with totally,
No. So look,
everything he's doing.
Eric Schnell and his wife, he wanted to find a sponsor that had nothing to do with the government. It was not military, intelligence, etc. So he found 2 wealthy experiencers, lifelong experiencers, and they're married to each other. And they're like billionaires in the food distribution industry. And they live in Florida, and they just easygoing people, full of love, have nothing ever in their history to do with the intelligence community or the military. And they are bankrolled. Look, we went out to that thing in the contact in the desert. Everybody got to go, and Schnell had a truck, chairs for everybody, water for everybody, blankets for everybody, and charged no one a nickel.
So again, I'm wanting to know, is this going to be definitive? Is this disclosure? Because again, that's a huge claim. That would be, in my opinion, one of the biggest claims ever made in human history, that you have definitive evidence that we're not alone, right, in the universe and on this planet. And not only that, you've captured video evidence of this. This would change the world. Is that what's going to happen? I have to admit, I have my suspicions, and not because I think these guys are suspicious. By no means. I think they're great guys. But what I've learned in this community is that there's things that get shown or things that people see that's just left up to interpretation, and it's not as definitive as Bob is kind of making it out to be. I'm not saying it won't be. If the evidence comes out and it is that way, then I'll be the first one to admit, I was wrong. But I just have a strong feeling that this may not be what everyone is expecting, even though it's being sold that way. But either way, I look forward to see what happens, with this and this video coming out. I do wish Michael would have let me know, but he's kind of got his own thing going on. So of course, I totally get it. But it was more just during our interview, he did kind of say, I'd love to have you out and film for it, and that would have been a great segment for my next documentary that's coming out, right? for sure. But regardless, I'm happy he's found a team. I'm happy he's doing something that he wants to do, and he's fighting for something he believes in. He's very passionate, and he thinks he has these abilities and can make this happen and provide evidence. I can appreciate that, right? And it sounds like he got hooked up with some people that got some money and are able to sort of fund this venture.
I don't think people understand how many people in the world want these guys to come. Not only that, I don't think anybody in the world realizes how much freaking people are willing to pay. And so they do these kind of free events, but then they go to the private events, and oh my God.
I mean, like the Greer thing, like a Greer thing?
It's mixed. So everyday folks out in the public, where they don't spend 3 or 4 days teaching them classes and stuff like that, those the single night things, they're like free. But if they're spending days at high cost, etc., they charge money. So it depends on what the event is. If it's a multi-day event, it costs serious money, because there's serious logistics, flying people all over the country. Just add it up. It's thousands and thousands of dollars to do one of these multi-day private events. For a handful of people, they charge them serious money. But if it's like a one-day thing where people come in, they do their best, they always bring in stuff, but they don't charge people anything for that at all. Nothing. I mean, they did both the first thing on the Friday night and the Bledsoe thing on the Sunday night. They didn't charge anybody anything for that.
Now, let me just say, I really have no problem with people charging money for anything. I mean, I did a whole segment at the beginning introducing my merch, and I've been pushing my documentary for people to get, right? I think if you offer a service or a product, you can charge for it. And if people don't want to get it, they just don't get it, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Psionics, in my opinion, what I learned is you don't need anybody to go skywatch. You don't need to pay anybody. You can just do it in your backyard. You can do it alone. You can do it with a group of people. You don't need anything. Now, they're providing a bigger experience that, costs some money. Just like you can cook craft macaroni and cheese at home, or you can go to a 5-star restaurant. They're both food. They're both meals. They both provide sustenance, but on a different level. So I know there's going to be some people in the comment, how's Mike charging for this and that? Now, if he then charges for the video that's going to bring disclosure out to people, there may be some issues there. I don't know. Because again, my documentary, I don't promise that at all. I make no promises about that. That's just my journey looking into psionics. And if you want to see that journey, and it's interesting and entertaining, because at the end of the day, it's a documentary and it's meant to be something worth watching. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with this bombshell video. Again, absolute bombshell video that could be coming out. When? I don't know. Could it be next week? Could it be 3 months, 4 months, 5 months? I don't know. But what's interesting is that Michael Battista and Science Bob, while they were at Contact in the Desert, went to a skywatching event with Chris Bledsoe. And they actually had an interesting conclusion to some of the stuff that Chris Bledsoe was seeing in the sky. Take a look at this.
I was at Contact in the Desert. I went to 2 skywatches. The first skywatch, nothing has come out yet because we're going to go over every single frame in that video before we release it. My brother Bledsoe, he did stuff and he put out videos 3 seconds after they were taken. Now, they were out there with things that told them airplanes, satellites, every other kind of thing they could, and they called it out live. But when the winged thing came over, they jumped right to, it was a winged orb, and then Battista and I and others even though Chris is my brother and I know how he feels about this, we looked at Battista's video and it was a great horned owl and we called it out. You gotta be a skeptic or no one will take you seriously. And he knows I'm still his brother, but I'm gonna tell the truth.
So they're basically saying, Science Bob, who is friends with Chris Bledsoe. When I interviewed him, we talked about that. And he's always mentioned that. And he's saying he's his boy, but he's, okay to call him out if something isn't what it says, right? he's saying that a winged sort of orb came by, but it was just an owl and they could see it, right? I mean, I think that's a good thing that they're calling that out and saying that's not a alien spaceship, right? Like, or whatever, an orb, like that's an owl, dude. That's kind of damning for Chris Bledsoe. And two things with that. One, I think that shows us that also gives us a pass to criticize and call out the videos that we see coming from Michael Battista and his team. If they're not definitively, aliens and it's something else, then we should be okay to call that out. Now, I just don't see him putting all this work to just put out a video of an owl, but to be honest with you. So I don't think that's going to be an issue, but I am worried that what we see may not be what they're telling us it is. I mean, it could be that, but we may not be able to see it in the video. Again, I'm just so worried that the video isn't that definitive, but we'll have to wait and see. And another thing about Chris Bledsoe, what's interesting about that Skywatch, them calling out the owl. Last year, when I went to Contact in the Desert, I also went to a skywatching event with Chris Bledsoe, and he called out a triangle craft flying through the sky, and it was just a plane. And everyone was saying, that's a plane, that's a plane. And Chris Bledsoe was screaming, stop saying it's a plane. But it was a plane. And it was obvious it was a plane. So it makes you wonder, what is Chris Bledsoe doing? I know people want to defend him and this and that. I'm just not a fan of the guy. And I think he knows what he's doing. And it's like, it doesn't make you look good to just blindly, this is my opinion, lie to people. I just don't get it, right? I just don't get it. I think it just is a weird thing. And it kind of goes back to what Jeremy Corbell said. Like, is this just a psyop? Like, is Chris Bledsoe doing this to make the whole summoning orbs thing just look ridiculous? Because he's calling out owls and planes, right, as being something supernatural when they're not. It's very wishy-washy and very suspicious, if I'm being honest. So hopefully Mike Battista and his team can actually bring something out that's a little more definitive. And don't forget, Michael Battista was part of Skywatcher. People have been wondering, where has Skywatcher been? If you remember, last year, I put out an exclusive clip from my documentary that, hadn't been released yet, of a guy that I filmed with named Carl Crusher talking to me about Skywatcher, and he dropped quite a bombshell. We'll get to that clip in a moment, but this actually got brought up in the X Space as well. Take a listen.
Bob, can you touch on the story about the previous craft that landed right when the NASA guy was there? Like, has that story been told yet?
The story has been told, but the data is not released. There's a reason, and it's corporate private, not any big, huge secret, but that stuff is coming out. But it's going to come out in a way that everybody and their brother over the whole world will see it simultaneously.
So again, the story came out because of me, essentially. They had, I was told, right, that Skywatcher had landed a craft with NASA and the military present, right? And so Bob is now saying that, one, that's been confirmed, and two, that they're going to be releasing the data on that. But the truth is, that actually hadn't been confirmed yet. So Bob just confirmed that as being something that Skywatcher is claiming. Again, that actually hasn't been confirmed. I follow this topic. I know what's going on. That has not been confirmed. I tried to confirm it, but couldn't get a direct response. So this kind of went underneath, right? Nobody noticed what Bob just said in that space. Yeah, he's confirming that Skywatcher did land a craft. NASA was present. Military was present. Now, you may be wondering, well, okay, I got a bazillion questions. Don't worry, I did too. Now, I'm going to play a short clip from the video I released last August about this Skywatcher NASA landing craft thing, whole incident. Because, again, I'm the one that broke the story because of something Carl Crusher told me while I was filming the documentary. Today is a special day because today I am going to show you an exclusive clip from my upcoming psionics documentary. You see, for the last few months, really, I have been filming out all over America, even in Spain and Europe, for this psionics documentary. And I have an exclusive, it's about a 12-minute clip, raw, no post-production, no nothing. Okay, just raw, unedited clip that I'm going to show you. Okay, so this is me, okay, Gino from the Y-Files, and Carl Crusher out in Utah. And basically, just a little backstory. We were out filming, in this part of Utah that Carl Crusher took us out to, and I filmed a lot with him. And there was just a particular part of this conversation that always stuck with me. That we were having. Just as we're skywatching, coincidentally, we just start talking about Skywatcher. I start asking about Skywatcher, and what he reveals is astounding. Okay, he's basically, Carl, on the record here, on camera, knows I'm filming for the documentary, right? He says that from his sources, someone he knows on Skywatcher, basically this Skywatcher has already landed a craft with NASA present. Okay, and there's way more to this. That's why this is a 12-minute unedited clip, so you can just hear it all, because we talk a lot more about Skywatcher, all this stuff. So, I just thought, well, James Fowler had come out recently, who was the guy behind all their technology at Skywatcher, and he has since left Skywatcher, and they're kind of taking this new approach. Or what? Honestly, I don't think a lot of people know what's going on. They basically said they're going to be analyzing data. Is this why they stopped filming? Is this why they've just now moved into the data? Because they have landed a craft. That's according to Carl Crusher. So let's get into this clip. Again, just a little backstory. There's no light in the image, very, very little bit of light. Okay, so this is what it looked like before I had to turn the lights off. Right here, you can see we're just sitting in the back of a pickup truck, me, Gino, and Carl. But I had to turn the lights off because Carl was like, look, you can't have both ways. You can film us or the sky, whatever. So, but I did have other features, other cameras to get stuff. Again, it's just not editing it all together. I'm just showing you this one particular angle that I had the audio on. Okay, so you can't really see anything, but you can hear everything perfectly. So again, Carl Crusher, Gino from the Y-Files, and myself talking about Skywatcher, but really Carl does all the talking here. I do ask some questions and push on it, and I just find this clip absolutely fascinating. And again, I don't know, again, none of the footage is all put together, and this isn't generally what my documentary is about, which is why I'm okay to release this clip early. And I don't think the documentary is going to come out till next year, but I just thought this should go out. Right, I thought everyone deserved to know this, and maybe Skywatcher will comment, and we'll see if this is true or not. Right. So again, without further ado, I've been blabbing enough. Let's get to this clip of Skywatcher.
But I have a lot of this that I've caught on night vision that I can send you as examples.
How is Skywatcher going to catch something that they summon with psionics?
They have already.
They've already captured something?
I know for a fact that, people from NASA and the military have already been there with them, and they've had a landing.
Holy shit.
Now, don't they say there's certain different styles of craft? Did they say 7?
Yeah, but some of them could be the same that appear different ways, like the difference between a tetra and a manta ray are hard to tell other than the way that they move, and they could be the same thing, just move in different ways,
What are the other ones that they...
The tetra, the jellyfish, the tic tac, the manta ray, one that they literally call the blob, or I think they call it the blob.
The classes of UAP, right?
Yeah. And then there's
Is there a blob?
Saucer and an orb, I think, are the other ones. It might not be blob. It might be it's like a brain looking one.
Is that not the jellyfish one?
I know, but then there's another one that is... I
You're
think
right.
that it is called the blob.
You might be right, actually. Yeah.
And it's like a
So
jellyfish.
what kind
but
did
it
they
doesn't-
catch?
I don't know.
It landed and they caught it.
There
Like
was,
they
there-
were able to load it.
I don't
up
know if
and-
they caught it, but I know that there was a landing and that
A
there's
landing.
people from NASA there.
Fucking A.
And that they knew that it was going to happen. The psionic team predicted it a day ahead of time.
That they would
That
do
that
this.
would happen. And that's
but
how
it only
NASA.
landed. So maybe they didn't capture it per se, but it landed.
I
and
wasn't
they saw
told
that.
all the details.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know.
This is your
Yeah.
friend from Skywatcher, I would assume. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
Was he
plane
part of
over
the
here?
squad that
There's a plane.
I can't say. Yeah,
There's a plane right here. Right behind it.
I can't see?
I honestly don't know if he was there when that one happened or not, or if he just
Yeah.
heard about it and then joined him later or what. But that's what I've been told. Yeah.
Now, I highly recommend going to check out that full clip. It's like 10 minutes, and there's way more conversation about Skywatcher with Carl Crusher. And to be honest, I think the person that Carl's talking to, his source inside Skywatcher, I think it's Michael Battista, personally. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. Just my opinion. And I think Carl Crusher is just protecting his friend, which, let's be real, I can respect that, right? To be honest with you. But nonetheless, sounds like that story has been confirmed. Skywatcher did land a craft with NASA, the military present. Now, did they capture it, right? As we discussed in that video, like, what did it look like? All of those things. Those are the details we need to come out. When will Skywatcher release all of that? I don't know, right? And then you have Michael Battista on his own, because he's since left Skywatcher, doing his own thing, capturing a landed craft. I don't know. This is very interesting, and we'll have to see how this plays out. But I have to admit, I have my reservations, and I'm a little suspicious. Again, this isn't just like a small claim. These are massive claims, humanity-changing claims that would change the direction of every human on planet Earth. Yeah, it's okay to be a little suspicious and a little critical and ask questions and try to find out what's going on. But with that said, that's a two-sided coin. I can also see, if it's that serious, why Skywatcher would take their time with bringing out that information and making sure they've crossed their T's and dotted their I's, right? But then you also have to consider what Jeremy Corbell said in that clip that I played at the beginning of the video, that Psionics was a government operation trying to control the narrative. Now, granted, he thinks these guys are doing it for good, right? I don't know. It's, again, a spider web, and we're stuck in it trying to figure out what's going on and how to get loose, right? We're essentially in the dark, looking for a little light. Now, I'm going to play an interview that I did with Michael Battista, so you can get to know him a little bit better. Again, the person, one of the main people this whole video has been about. And he also released some other footage in the past that premiered on News Nation. And I had him on, and he gave me new videos, and actually an exclusive video from Michael Battista that you're going to see in this upcoming clip of a triangle craft, right? But again, there's a lot to it. So this video will help you understand who Michael Battista is, and maybe give us an idea of the type of video we may be seeing released by him and his new company, Psionic Asset, the one that Bob McGwier is talking about, the one that claims a craft lands, two beings with suits come out, and it's definitive. There is no doubt what it is. What's up, Vetters? Patrick here with Vetted. Today I'm going to show you some highlights from an interview I did with former Green Beret and Skywatcher Psionic Asset Michael Battista. And I'll also be showing you an exclusive video he gave me to share of a triangle craft that I will show at the end of the video, so make sure to stay tuned to the end for that. But for now, let's get into my interview with Michael Battista.
My name is Michael Battista. I'm 32 years old, and I'm a former U.S. Army Green Beret, 3rd Group.
And Mike, do you believe that a higher form of non-human intelligence has been visiting this planet?
Yes, I do.
When you make that statement, how confident are you that is true?
I'm extremely confident.
Do you feel like you believe that is true, or do you feel like you know that is true?
I know that it's true.
A Green Beret, former Green Beret, Magic Mike Battista is joining us. Welcome, Mike. Good to have you here. Mike's also been one of the psionics working very closely with Jake Barber's Skywatcher group doing the psionic summoning.
Now you're out, you did that News Nation interview and you came out and everyone kind of really knows you a lot more now. How did that feel, like coming out? And I don't know, is that you were nervous or?
It was overwhelming for sure, especially the footage that was released through News Nation wasn't how I wanted it to look, We have a re-edited version that's much better, which you can upload for this interview. It was a lot, I'm not even here to prove anything to anybody. I'm just here to tell my story and, help in any way that I can. You can make your own assumption on beliefs in your own time, do your research, but there seems to be something to this, and I'm right there in the middle of it still, so. I've interacted with small, like 3.5 foot tall gray beings with elongated skulls. I've seen mantis looking creatures. I've seen taller grays. I've seen entities. I don't know if they're extraterrestrial or they're from this planet, but I've seen all sorts of stuff like that, but those are the main ones I've interacted with.
Now let's get back to some of the highlights from my interview with Michael Battista. This is an interesting part because we discuss the 2023 disclosure event put on by Dr. Stephen Greer, where Michael Battista apparently went to look for answers. Is it safe to say that that's Jake Barber that you met at the Greer event?
I didn't meet him there. He may have been there, but I didn't know who he was at the time. But that event did lead me into meeting Jake for sure.
I mean, Jake said this in an interview on Jesse Michaels that he went to the Greer event June 2023.
Mm-hmm. Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Stephen Greer. I'm the founder of the Disclosure Project. You're seeing behind me a moment ago this event 22 years ago on May 9th, 2001. At that event, there were 22 folks who came forward. And so over the last 16 months, I've been asked to provide as much intelligence as I can to folks who have been working to get to the bottom of this since the Congress passed a law requiring the Director of National Intelligence to come forward with information to the extent that he had it.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you went to the same thing and didn't even know that they were there, and then you meet them, later on, I guess.
It seemed like I was there looking for someone, and they were there looking for someone too. And after the fact, we met up. And Jake, he's one of the most outstanding gentlemen I've had the pleasure to work with and call a friend. So I'm grateful for it.
Did it concern you that he did go there to turn people in to get them arrested? I don't know. Did that?
I don't know anything about that. That's not why I was there, and I don't know anything about that.
At the National Press Club, hosted by Stephen Greer, there were several whistleblowers that had decided to come forward in that environment and share their stories. So we were actually sent there on behalf of our employer to look for whistleblowers that we were trying to basically report to the FBI and get arrested.
So this led you to working with Skywatcher. I know you probably not sure how much you want to talk about that.
I can't answer any questions about Skywatcher at all, especially if it's phrased in the question, mentioned Skywatcher. I'm gonna have to pass over that one, but that Greer event was a catalyst that led me into working with, military contractors as a psionic asset.
Why you can't talk about Skywatcher?
I'm under NDAs with them, and it's just this isn't a Skywatcher interview. So
when you do this, are there other people around? Do they actually see you doing this?
I have multiple witnesses that can testify that is a fact.
And how many times do you feel like you've been able to summon something in the sky?
Anytime I want.
When I was out with Carl and Gino out there in Utah, we had a lot of time to talk, as you know, when you're sitting out there hanging out, hours upon hours of back and forth. And Carl told me a story about a craft had landed with NASA present. That's what Carl had told me, right? That Skywatcher had done.
But I have a lot of this that I've caught on night vision that I can send you as examples.
How is Skywatcher going to catch something that they summon with psionics?
They have already.
They've already captured something?
I know for a fact that people from NASA and the military have already been there with them, and they've had a landing.
Holy shit.
And then I see you come out and you had a video of, quote, a landing. Is this the same thing?
I wouldn't know anything about Skywatcher's involvement with that stuff because I can't talk about anything, but that was not that occurrence at all. That was on my own personal time.
And of course, I had to ask about Skywatcher, right? I mean, that's the point, right? It's unfortunate that he can't really discuss any of that, but at the same time, I understand if he signed an NDA, it's quite literally a legal issue, right? But I wish we could get a little bit more out of Mike's time at Skywatcher. That would be nice. But let's move on and let Michael explain some of his experiences. In any of your experiences, did you ever, did any of the experiences you've had ever have a purpose, like a secondary purpose, like saving someone, or I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like there was a mission to it or something.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I can't talk about some of them, but yeah, no, I'll go with an intent. Sometimes the intent is just to hang out and do a viewing. And sometimes there's a different intent. We want to get some sort of targeted result, like get that good footage or, get them to land or, it depends. Like for me, if I'm doing these contact events with someone really important that may need to see this, they seem to really show up for that.
And so that's how you describe it, right, to yourself, like it's a landing, like.
Well, yeah, something. Well, it started out. There was an orb going by, really high up, almost even looked like a satellite, and something ejected out of the bottom of it, like a little smaller looking orb. And I'm standing there just looking up, and it's just getting closer and closer and closer until it gets below the tree line. And the video on News Nation isn't a very good representation. I think we can do better with that. And again, I wasn't out there with any professional cameras. I was actually just in my backyard and I was caught off guard by this. But yeah, so the craft, came down and it was moving around under the tree line a little bit, and then it hit the ground. And I had no idea what I was looking at whatsoever. It just looked ethereal. Like the photo or the video that we finally got done properly is exactly the way I saw it. It looked like ethereal. It was light. There was light, beings of light, and you could see, up close. You could see things moving around over there. And when it hit the ground, like, it did something to me. In a way, I think I was just very compliant and not myself, in a sense, for like, hey, during this interview, if some landed right here, I would probably walk up to it and show the world right there. But I felt like docile, and it was kind of like a dreamlike state, and I was still like, what the hell am I looking at? And I didn't have a frame of reference in my brain at that point to understand what the hell was going on for a lot of it. But I was, the footage was super shaky. I was fighting to get my phone out and just record. Like something was making me, it was like psychic Xanax or something. Yeah. Some sort of compliance.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And that went on for like about 10 minutes. And while these things are out there in front of me, I was like, I'm tired, like completely out of character for me. It's like, I'm tired. I'm going to go sit down now. That's
not you.
Yeah. I don't know what that was. And I fell asleep in my workshop in my rocking chair, like an old man. And I woke up in my house, and it's about 150 yards plus away from my house. Whether I stumbled there and while I was unconscious, or I got put there, I have no idea to this day. But I did wake up with strange marks on me. Dr. Gary Nolan has seen them. And after every missing time episode, it's happened about 3 times, I'd wake up with another strange mark next to the other mark. It's a shaved circle. One of them had like 3 pinholes in it, like needle holes. Another one had a small, like, incision mark. And another one just kind of looks like those spider web veins, but the hair doesn't grow there still anymore, and there's no feeling there as well. Still.
Wow. What part of your body is that? I mean,
my right thigh was after the missing time, and I also do have scoop marks on my left thigh from childhood as well.
From childhood?
Yeah, and I didn't know, until I started investigating these ones. I didn't know what the other one really was until you start looking into it. And it's consistent with, cases all the way back to the 60s. It looks just like them. And and that's something I've had for most of my life.
Something happened to you, then you realize, some mark that I've had my whole life almost, right? One of those kind of kid things you get, and it looked the same. It looks the same.
All the marks on my body are consistent with, those reports dating back since, Roswell times. So,
when did your experience with the phenomena begin?
The first experiences I was having was in my early teens, and it started to accelerate as I grew up. And as my time in the military was ending and I was getting out, it really accelerated at that point.
What are your thoughts on like Chris Bledsoe and people like that?
So I live in the same town as him, actually. I know a lot of people that know him. We have some mutual friends. I think that he has psionic abilities. I don't know how long he's been exploring it or whatever. I think that whatever he's talking about, he believes in. And I haven't got the chance to meet him in person yet, but we see different things. From what I've heard from people who have done it with him and the footage that I've seen, we're having completely different experiences. Some are the same, but the spectrum of what I'm seeing is different. What are you seeing?
Now it's time to share the exclusive video brought to you by Michael Battista, filmed, I guess, a little over a year ago. He gave me some details about the actual video. So first, what I'm going to do is just play the video for you. And then we'll kind of, I'll go over some of the details about it. All right, so he gave me this video, and it's on a tripod. And you can see a couple of lights here, right, that I've put. Well, now he just zooms out, and you'll see 3 lights there that I just highlighted, forming a triangle. He's trying to zoom in and get a better look at it. And this is like a 17-minute video in full. There. Now I've highlighted the 3 dots. And basically, you're going to see these 3 dots move in unison, as you're seeing. And basically all that's happening is we're going to watch a 15-minute time lapse of these lights, orbs moving. Is it 1 craft? Is it 3 craft? What is going on? But they definitely move. And then basically, this is just how it ends. You know, we're just kind of there. You know, kind of an interesting video. It's a long video. And over the course of 15 minutes, the lights move, essentially. So, I don't know. Now, Mike said that he checked with his sources and said that they're not Hawkeye satellites, as you can see here. Hawkeye 360. And I guess he wanted me to make sure that they weren't these specific satellites, but what if there were other satellites? I don't know. It's a very interesting thing. And it sounds like that information came from Bob McGwier, who was an investor of Hawkeye, I think even a founder, and also works with Skywatcher. So that's my assumption. And he also said he has a source that told him that this craft, he thinks it's one large craft. And he says he was told it's the size, based on its orbit and this, that, and the other, it's the size of a small city, which is massive. You know, Michael says that he can call this craft in when he wants. And he's done it on multiple occasions. He just doesn't like to do it very often because it's so big. And very important people have also witnessed this thing. So what do you see in the video? Do you see one big craft? Do you see 3 lights? Is it not anomalous? Are they stars? Like, what's going on? Why are they moving like that? Why are they moving in unison? Let me know what you think down in the comments. And again, this is the first time Michael is sharing this video. He said he's had it for over a year and trying to get it out. And, you know, I put it out for him essentially in this video. So you can decide for yourself what you think about this. I don't really see a particular craft, but I see the lights. And I see them moving in a time lapse, right? And they're definitely moving, but I don't know. It's so strange. So strange. So how slow would that thing have to be moving in the sky? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed these highlights from my interview with Michael Battista. He had a little message here for everyone because he started a new Discord if you want to, you know, engage with Michael.
Just stay tuned to my YouTube because we have some really cool stuff coming out. And Carl and I just made a Discord. It's UAP. It stands for the United Alliance of Psionics. So it's a community where people can come and share their stories and do research and talk about the phenomenon. I think it's pretty cool to have. So.
All right. So look, I'm going to put links down below to Michael's YouTube page, his Twitter, this new Discord. Please go support him. Join, talk, hang out. You know, Michael's a great guy who just wants to kind of talk about this. I did get a sense from him that he was very authentic. He believes what he's saying, whether or not it's alien or this or that or what, I don't know. But I believe he believes it, you know, which is good to know. The Skywatcher stuff, yeah, wish we could get more information. But at the end of the day, I totally respect Michael's position. He has to if he signed NDAs. So, all right, betters, don't forget my psionics documentary is out right now. It's Vetted's very first feature documentary about psionics. Go to psionics.film. You can purchase the film. You get an additional up to 3 hours of additional footage we did not include in the film with the purchase of the film. So thank you for supporting independent filmmaking, and thank you to everyone who has bought the film and supported us. I really do appreciate it. And don't forget to get that psionics movie poster if you want. It is sick, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I worked a really long time on that, and it is well worth it if you want to get it. It comes framed or unframed if you want to get it that way as well. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one. Remember, Vettas, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.